Here's Allie. Morning, Allie.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Too long.
Way too long.
How are you?
I'm doing just fine. The fires caught me right in the lungs, and so it was. I was having trouble breathing for about a week after that, and so I missed everybody. Believe me. I really, really did. And what action we've missed. Oh my God.
Oh my Lord. I mean, you heard what we talked about just a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
The petition on change.org to get Sophie Cunningham booted from the league when you won't take action against everybody else that won't stand for Caitlin Clark and the way she's been abused. Let's just call it the way we see it. If some social justice warrior police want to come after me for the wording of this, so be it. I will say it real. That's how y'all know me. Caitlin Clark has been absolutely abused on the court since she arrived, and no one is standing for her.
It's not even the WNBA at this point. There's
Who did I call out this morning, gents? I called out Kathy Engelbert.
Yeah.
It's on her feet.
Do
something.
It is the worst. I've not seen ever in the WNBA people who have abused anyone as much as Caitlin Clark has been abused. And and you see it that the league is getting a hell of a lot more violent. Yes. Now, we're talking about it. And
we're the only ones that will talk about it.
For 28 years, the WNBA has been polite and nice, I guess, and maybe much less aggressive in their play. But it's when the women start acting like the WWE that everybody starts getting up in arms over it. Which is a real double-edged sword if you think about it for the league. I don't think Sophie Cunningham should be tossed out of the league. I think she's one hell of an enforcer. I think that she was doing her best to stand up to a really aggressive game and several really aggressive players. Would have been nice if Marina Mabrey had maybe done more like that for the Sky, but who knows? Anyway,
I agree with that.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you have this kind of controversy, that is great for ratings. It's great for, people talking about it. It is not great for the players who have to play the game and also have to give their all. And especially in the case of Caitlin Clark, I've not seen such aggression towards any player in my lifetime. I mean, and I've seen a whole bunch of people. I've never seen anybody like JC Sheldon poking Caitlin in the eye and then Marina Mabrey striking her down. Flagrant ones, okay? And one, I believe, is being upgraded to flagrant 2. So, but at this point, the problem is that the league hasn't done a damn thing about addressing it. There has been no statement from Kathy Engelbert. There's been no statement from any of the league's owners. The only one that has ever talked about it with any degree of paucity has been Stephanie White, the coach of the Indiana Fever. And she wasn't happy. She wasn't happy with the way the officiating went. By the way, kind of a funny anecdote to that story. There was an incident with Sophie Cunningham, who who had this brawl going on. The security guard's hand placement on Sophie Cunningham after the incident, as he was hauling her off, a few people found his hand perilously near her backside.
Really?
As she was being hauled off the court. Mm-hmm. So, it's been crazy. Have we talked in the last couple of hours about the actual incident on between the Suns and the Fever?
Go for it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it here, but from this is my recalling of it because I called the game on Tuesday night.
Yeah,
Caitlin Clark went to drive to the left. JC Sheldon, Hassan Chop caught her in the eye. Caitlin Clark says, "Hey, enough of this BS." Retaliated. Caitlin Clark, for some dumb reason, and I stress the word dumb, received a technical foul when I think it was just everything that's been happening to her in the year plus in the league boiling over.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah. Well, so that was the first incident. And then that set off a wave of pushing and yelling and all kinds of tension between both teams. And Sophie Cunningham got a little revenge standing up. Mm-hmm. They exchanged some words, and so it kind of looked to me like an all-out hockey fight. Yep. To be honest with you, it was. But the biggest problem that I felt was that there. Allowing incidences like that to escalate as it did, they're already 48 hours too late in saying anything about it. Is this normal play? Do we need to expect this every time? I mean, if we have, this is one of the reasons why hockey many years ago banned fighting. I will remember, I remember the days when the Blackhawks and the Red Wings were in the same conference, and that ice was so bloody by the end of it. And is this the way we're going to go from now on in the WNBA? I mean, a little fighting, sure. Okay. We like a little bit.
But as you said a moment ago, Allie, you don't want it to turn to Red Wings Blackhawks from the late 80s and the 90s. And you sure as hell don't want to see it become Pistons Bulls, since we're talking Detroit Chicago references. You don't want to see Pistons Bulls again. But unfortunately, with the Sun and the Fever, and I fear with the Sky and the Fever, especially since the Indiana Fever played basketball twice and whooped their asses twice, and the Sky being their own, being at their own fault because they didn't take advantage of opportunity. And now with Caitlin Clark back on the floor, this is where it's trending, and I don't like it. From a fellow that's covered women's basketball since 2000, I hate it. I hate the way where this is. I hate where this is going right now.
Yeah, this is frightening. It's really frightening, and it can only get worse. And the same night, Angel Reese had the same issue of sorts. It didn't escalate as badly, but if you'll remember, in the last quarter of the game against the Washington Mystics and the Sky, let's see. basically Angel Reese took a swipe at Kiki Arafin with her right hand. Arafin fell to the floor after the contact. The play continued on. There were no fouls given. There was nothing. But here's what happened. The Sky fell apart after that and ended up losing to the Mystics 79-72.
And this is after they held a 16-point lead as late as the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah.
And that was Tuesday night, because I had my eye on that game while I was covering the Fever game. I had my eye on that. I saw the incident. It broke Chicago apart.
Yeah.
Allowed Washington to get their act together, especially from the outside. They race back and win the game. How when you see an incident like that demoralize a team, there's a problem.
Well, there's a big problem with the Chicago Sky, as we know. You have a rookie coach that, in my opinion, really doesn't know what he's doing.
We talked about that too.
Thank you for saying that. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, because we said that. We said that at the time. Let's just. Allie was the first to say it on this program. He didn't know what the hell he was doing, and she said that at the top of the season, and the look on her face said everything.
Right.
She introduced him, and she paused for a minute. That look on Allie's face told me everything I needed to know about how she feels about Coach Marsh and how he's coaching the Sky, because they're being run into the ground right now.
Yeah. I mean, they're at the bottom of the power rankings. There's nothing good that I can see coming out of the season, especially after Courtney Vandersloot going down. It's one of the tragedies of the season. She didn't have to go down either, to my mind. It was the worst of all possible ways for Vandersloot to probably end her career. I cannot even imagine.
I don't want to say it, but is this it for Sloot after that ACL injury? I think this is it.
I think so. I mean, I don't think that she wants it that way, but let's face it, she's 35, 36 years old at this time.
And this is her 15th season.
Yeah. And I remember covering her draft. And the thing is that there's only so much basketball you can play, particularly after an ACL tear. That's a year-long process to get yourself back to even feeling like you can take on the world again.
Right.
She's going to be in rehab for months. She's going to be about 38 when she's able to come back. And, anything is possible, but by that time, her and Allie Quigley's little baby is going to be, 2-3 years old. There's going to be a terrible twos. You're a father of daughters.
I am.
You know what the twos are.
I do indeed. And not only am I a father, I'm also a grandfather. My littlest one just got out of the turbo. She just turned 3.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Been there, done that, got plenty of t-shirts to prove it.
I can only imagine. It's going to be so difficult for Courtney to come back and to be that general on the floor. She could still do the general type thing, but I think that would be the end of the Sky season.
Yeah.
Somewhere between Tyler Marsh and Courtney Vandersloot not being there. Now, I will say that they have been the players themselves have been pretty gracious to Tyler Marsh. They have said, Angel Reese said, that they have to give Tyler grace because he's a rookie coach. He's the head coach, but it's us on the floor. She said we have to look ourselves in the mirror and be patient with ourselves and continue to just grind, which is what she had to say, to my mind.
She had to let you know the frustration is building in the Chicago locker room.
Yeah.
You get 2 in a row over Dallas.
Yeah.
And then came the second round of games that everybody was looking forward to and circling on their calendar, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it, which was the first one in the United Center against Indiana.
Right.
And we talked about this, but we didn't have you on with us. Angel Reese had the spotlight all to herself because Caitlin Clark was injured.
Right.
19,464 in the United Center in downtown Chicago.
Right.
And only 4 points.
Yeah. It was kind of pathetic. It was an embarrassment to all of the Chicago Sky fans.
Yep.
You know, they really, at that point, I felt like there was a chance for them, but not after Courtney went down. The biggest problem, I think, too, is that they don't know how to play the third quarter. And Ariel Atkins even addressed that in a press conference. He said they said that she said our third quarters have been so tough now, we have to have a good fourth quarter. The problem is, you know, all of these games have been winnable.
Every game has been winnable for them. Every single game they have played this season has been winnable.
Yeah.
In the Sky game in Chicago, in the United Center, it was the second quarter that killed them.
Yeah.
And then the Fever, mind you, Caitlin Clark was injured. And then third quarter, Indiana picked up the pace and ran away.
Yeah.
And you saw the body language. This is something Allie and I talk about a lot from our days of covering the Sky before. The body language that the Sky was showing by the time midway through the third quarter came on and Indiana just ran off 10 in a row. Coach Marsh had to call a timeout. They were defeated. I hate seeing that from a team, but when you don't have that cohesion, there's another word that we talk about a lot. When you don't have that cohesion, you got a problem.
Yes.
And right now, the Chicago Sky have major problems going on.
They do. And I don't see a way forward. I really don't see a way forward for them. Now, I hate being a doomsayer. I love the Chicago Sky. I always have, and have always wondered why they haven't gotten somebody with some kind of prestige. A James Wade may come along only once in a lifetime, right? Somebody who had the pedigree of working for Cheryl Reeve for so long up in Minnesota. And and also having worked in the European leagues. Now, I just don't see that Marsh has either the ability or the pedigree, even working with someone as prestigious in the game as Becky Hammon with the Aces. I don't see that there's a way forward. He doesn't know how to manage that talent. Using too much of the Rachel Bannons, using too much of those who are not going to be in real contention. You just can't make a team the way he's trying to make this team. And it's very clear he doesn't know what he's doing. And that just hurts me to say that.
It hurts me to see it.
It
hurt me to see it
Yes.
Because like I said, Allie and I have covered this guy for a long time. Both of us basically have been covered since their inception. And we've seen some great Chicago Sky teams. Elena Deladon, hello.
Mhm.
We've
Yes.
seen teams that have wiped out deficits to come back to win games. Quite a few of those we both saw live at the old Rosemont Horizon.
Yes.
Now
Yep.
you have it's been so bad. I mean, this is the same Chicago Sky team that once upon a time had one of the darlings of the league. I think you know her name well, Candace Parker.
Yep. She was the one who put them over the top.
She
And
brought them a championship.
yes, she
And
did.
nothing since then, and it hurts me to say that.
Yes.
It absolutely hurts me to say that.
Well, it tells you also how important the role of coaching properly is, and the role of understanding chemistry and understanding the type of environment that it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
And while you may not have the Teresa Weatherspoon one season era of maybe favoring these couple of players and having kind of a destructive environment, apparently you don't have that anymore. But you have a group that does not know how to build chemistry and find a footing to win.
Right.
And there's been no help from the coaches. Now, they may all love each other and it's all kumbaya in the locker room, but what good is that if there's nobody winning? What good is it?
If you can keep the kind of criticism on Caitlin Clark and the Fever for not winning for the first half of last year, before she and her teammates, I want to stress that she and her teammates got the Olympic break. And then they came out like gangbusters, averaging 95 points the second half of the year. You can heap the same kind of criticism on Chicago and other teams if they're not performing up to standards. Las Vegas Aces, hello.
Yeah.
Right now, it's Minnesota and New York and everybody else,
and the Indiana Fever
and the Fever have come on lately. Caitlin Clark being back in the lineup, and plus they're playing for the Commissioner's Cup.
That's right. And
they're playing for the Commissioner's Cup.
Would we have laid odds on that at the beginning of the year? I don't think we would have.
I don't think we would have. Honestly, I don't think we would have.
Yeah, I don't think that. I just don't think that that the Fever get enough credit for what they're building in their conference and for the WNBA. They are playing some pretty good basketball. They're playing a very aggressive game. And the thing is that they are. They're such a force. I wouldn't be too surprised if at some point they surpass the Liberty.
You know what got them on their way? A 14-point wipeout of said Liberty.
Yes.
Caitlin Clark's return. Let's hit that for a moment.
Yeah.
What should have told the league that not only is Caitlin back, but so are the Fever, and the Fever are getting their act together. A 38-second clip.
Yeah.
Her teammates, Caitlin Clark's teammates, finding her and her being the hot hand. She hit 3 absolutely ridiculous 3-point goals.
Yes.
38 seconds. That's ridiculous as seeing Steph go on a run like that. And Lord knows we've seen that from Steph Curry in 16 seasons.
Yes, we have.
And there was something I did want to touch on. How big was it? And we've seen how the NBA tends to reach out and give some shine to their WNBA sisters. Like we saw it with Sabrina and Steph in the All-Star game. How interesting, how big was it for LeBron James to say, look, the Caitlin Clark effect is real, and she was missed.
Yes,
that was me. Cherry on top of the ice cream sundae.
And there were reactions all over the place when when that tweet dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The late great Jack Buck said it best. Pardon me while I stand up and applaud. when we see that. My wife was in her office and I was covering that game. It was an afternoon game. The more times she heard me say splash, she comes running out and looking behind me going, what happened? What I missed?
That's something.
And then I said, honey, they won. She says, I heard you. I was trying to keep it to a low roar, but when Caitlin Clark hits a 30-footer, then a 32-footer, and then a 28-footer in 38 seconds, no, I couldn't keep quiet about that. Tried, failed.
As well you should have, Brian. That was a key moment. It also was the game that brought them into the Commissioner's Cup final. And I think that everyone on planet Earth should watch that final because it's going to be vicious. It's going to be fun. And
I'm going to have this microphone in front of me when that final happens.
All right. Let me know if you need anything, buddy. But
bring it on. I'm gonna have this microphone. I'm gonna have this microphone in front of me, this headset here, and you on camera with me when we do that Commissioner's Cup final.
All right.
That was the game that was the game they needed to win because with Clark being out 5 games, the Fever were looked at as an afterthought, and they lost one in the Commissioner's Cup standings. They lost 1 game, and they needed to beat New York to get to the final. How about 102 points?
How about it?
How about 102 points?
Let's
go over our power rankings. What the power rankings say?
Power rankings. Well, we got to go with the Minnesota Lynx at number 1. First of all, 10-1. It's odd. Now we have no undefeateds, and the Fever was responsible for the New York Liberty. And interestingly enough, though, with the Lynx, their loss came after last Wednesday's 94-84 loss at Seattle, and Minnesota just didn't play well enough to win, despite Nafisa Collier's 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. How that didn't get them.
Good gracious.
Yeah. And
Nafisa Collier. I'm looking forward now to Caitlin Clark going up against Nafisa Collier. I guarantee that's going to be a 100-point game.
That is. Oh, yeah.
Easily.
That's going to be a 100-point game. I guarantee
you that.
Wait.
We'll see if it goes to a brawl. We'll see about that. It's.
I don't want a brawl. I want a 100-point. I want like a 102, 101 kind of game between those two.
I would love that. I think that's going to be great. But I mean, how great was it though? With the New York Liberty, who by the way is number 2 in the rankings this week. And they will. They're playing Phoenix tonight, and they're playing Seattle on the 22nd. The thing is, what greater way for Caitlin Clark to announce I'm back than to defeat? I mean, and what a defeat it was. However, you've got a problem coming up with the Liberty. They don't have Jonquil Jones.
No, that's
and she's got an ankle problem. And they also don't have Leonie Fibich as well, because she's doing Eurobasket for Germany.
The first time the Liberty and the Fever played in India, Fibich killed us.
Yes.
From deep. Fibich, every time Fibich came in the game, she killed us, man.
She did. Yeah, she's one hell of a player. I love European basketball probably because of her. And she's been pretty amazing. And the thing that really struck me was, wow, Sabrina Ionescu can be defeated in that game, in the game against the Fever. She can be. It was a surprise.
Yeah, it was.
I was going, gee whiz, was Caitlin Clark even really injured? I mean, how bad was it? She had 25 first half points.
When the 3-pointers kept getting longer and longer and longer, as I mentioned earlier, Steph Curry, hello. When they kept getting longer, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm like, let's beat that. I want to see if only at the WNBA All-Star Game, if they could get Steph Curry out of his, off-season vacation.
I already know where you're going, and we beat you to it. The Splash Brothers against the Splash Sisters.
Yes.
You bring Steph and Clay on one side, Sabrina and Caitlin on the other side.
I am so there with you.
There is your headliner.
Yes.
All-Star Weekend. And where's All-Star Weekend this year? Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yes, it is. Yeah, they just actually announced.
Which means there are never going to be enough seats. There's never going to be enough seats.
No.
They should move that. I want you want to petition to the fellow who to the person who made that Sophie Cunningham petition. I'll give you a positive one. Move the All-Star Weekend to Lucas Oil Stadium.
I'm good with that.
Any kind of money. They'll sell that joint out in minutes.
Easily.
If you can do it for the NBA in 2024 when they had their All-Star Weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium, when Sabrina and Steph went at it, you can do it for this year. You can move the All-Star game to Indianapolis. They did it at the last minute in Dallas for the NBA, moving it from American Airlines Arena to Cowboys Stadium. What happened? 108,000.
Exactly.
You can't tell me you can't put 70,000 at Lucas Oil Stadium. If you can do it for the NCAA, you got Caitlin Clark in the house. She's been saving everything post Olympics for the All-Star Weekend, and believe me, she was offered a chance to participate in this NBA All-Star game out in San Francisco. She says, "Nope, I want to save it for Indianapolis." You can't tell me that you can make one little phone call and move everything to Lucas Oil Stadium and sell that joint out in minutes. Yeah.
There, I'm totally with you on that, Brian. I think it would be fabulous. I think that if maybe we should send this show to the commissioners that be and
quit reading my mind.
Yeah,
quit reading my mind.
Just
you and Shane and Victor all read my mind before I could speak everything I want to speak.
And you're an Indiana dude. I mean, how far is Indianapolis from your house?
Less than an hour.
Less than an hour. There you go.
I can get to Indy in less than an hour.
Okay,
Matter of fact, if I could pull it off, the weekend All-Star Weekend, we should be there. Some kind of way we should be in Indy for WNBA All-Star Weekend. They could move it to Lucas Oil Stadium in a minute. They can move it in a heartbeat. Where are the Fever in your power rankings?
The Fever are number 5 in the power rankings. So preceded by the Phoenix Mercury, just because their record's better. Okay. True. They've had a good
Phoenix to come. Who expected Phoenix to come out like gangbusters?
Exactly. Yeah, they're having like a renaissance here. And
so is Atlanta.
You've got
Atlanta.
They're my number 3 this week. They're averaging 84.6 points per game, and they rank third in the league compared to a league worst 77.0 last season. Mm-hmm. Overall, they went 3-0 last week. They won over Indiana and the Sky, of course.
Alicia Gray killed us. Can we have some love for Alicia Gray?
Yeah.
Alicia Gray, that lefty dynamo, killed us.
I love her.
Every time the Fever got close, and they played this without Caitlin Clark. Every time the Fever got close, Alicia Gray says, no, you don't, and drops in a 3 from anywhere.
And you got to remember too, I give credit to Carl Smesko, their new coach.
Yes.
He has been a guiding light. Why wasn't he on the radar for the Sky?
I can answer that with 3 simple words, just like the Bears. Who's in charge?
That's
I rest
fair.
my case.
Now,
The
I love Adam Fox. I have loved him all the years. I love Michael Alter. I do. I think they're wonderful people, and they've afforded us a very nice life for the last 15 or so years.
Yeah.
And my heart is bleeding. It's just bleeding. So I think, though, that it was crazy that the Atlanta Dream has had this incredible renaissance. They used to be the worst of the league, and now
the first time they played Indiana, they were at State Farm Arena in Atlanta.
Right.
Full house. You can't tell me the Caitlin Clark effect is not real.
Yes.
We've known this since Carver Hawkeye Arena.
I've got to mention something to you. If you don't think that the Caitlin Clark effect is real, the stadiums may have been full. However, the Fever national TV games were down 53%.
Yep.
In those games that she was gone, they were averaging 1,810,000 viewers before the injury and 847,000 viewers afterwards. Now, in most years, that would have been joyful to get 847,000 viewers, but we've been spoiled by the Caitlin Clark effect. Yes, and without Caitlin, I mean, there is a real effect here. The last tickets that went for the Sky and Fever game were down about to $3.
Yep.
At the end.
These weren't nosebleeds.
No.
These were not nosebleeds. Victor and I went through something similar when we were covering Brother Rice High School in 2005. They had a fellow by the name of Bobby Frazier. And Frazier was injured at the time they were to play the #1 team in Illinois, St. Joseph's. And we know the legend of Gene Pingator. This game took place at the UIC Pavilion. We already expected to sell out, but then word came down from Pat Richardson, the legendary Pat Richardson, that Frazier just could not go because of a back injury. And we started thinking, how many tickets are going to be given away with Frazier not playing? Well, as it turned out, they weren't. Everybody came in, 8,500 in the house. And it didn't need to be Bobby Frazier that put on a show. Brian Harrigan did that for us with 6 3-point goals. And we're talking distance 6 3-point goals. And Rice ran out to a big lead. St. Joseph came all the way back, got within 1, but they made a critical mistake at the end and let Brian Harrigan open to seal the game.
Right.
We talked to many, many fans after the game on both sides. And they were applauding. They were just applauding. There were some that heard us live on the broadcast because they were out of town. They enjoyed it. It's the same effect that Caitlin Clark has.
Yes.
The Fever have had nothing but sellouts since she's been drafted #1. And you ain't going to get a seat at Gainbridge Fieldhouse as long as she is a member of the Indiana Fever, period.
Or a media credential. So
you know what? I got a bone to pick with their asses.
Here we go.
I figured.
I sent my credential request in as soon as they opened the portal for these last 2 seasons. What do you think I got? I'm sorry, we're not able to credential you at this time. And so old Snowman got together with his wife and a couple of other people. And we're like, oh yeah, watch this. So I've been doing the play-by-play online.
Yeah. God bless the child who gets his own. That's
Agreed. Agreed.
There's always a workaround, which I like.
And I love it. Speaking of workaround, Athletes Unlimited Softball is off and running.
They are, they are gangbusters out at Parkway Bank Park. I'm back in Rosemont. On Jenny Finch Way. It's a joy to watch AUSL softball. Athletes Unlimited Softball League is what it's called. They are there from June 7th to August 31st. And if you want to see some truly professional softball, that is what to do. Now, here's an interesting dilemma, Brian. You know that in 2026, there's going to be baseball for all and a new baseball league starting. And there has been a very long debate over the presence of women in baseball and their ability to play. When we talked with Al Lautenschlager a while ago, by the way, he's got another book. We got to have him on again, called Cincinnati Soul. And
Al, you have an open invitation. I'm putting it out there.
Come on,
an open invitation from us.
Come on in. It's the thing is that he talked about women as coaches and women as executives in the league and things like that. Yes. However, my contention has always been that women should not only be able to play softball. Women should play baseball. It's a smaller ball, for God's sakes. You can handle a smaller ball, okay?
Victor, we've covered games at Ho Chunk for many, many seasons.
Yeah.
We've seen many girls come in and rock the damn house.
Exactly.
One name, Deja Bell.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to bring up Little League World Series.
Listen, Deja Bell gave me the vibes of a young Doc Gooden. And anyone who has seen Dwight Gooden,
I interviewed Dwight Gooden. I was 5 years old.
Anybody who has seen the likes of Roger Clemens, Doc Gooden, Nolan Ryan, you saw it in Deja Bell because Deja Bell wasn't afraid to rear back and fire a fastball by you.
That's right.
And she was one of the aces.
Pedro early days in Boston.
I say there's room for everybody everywhere, wherever they want to be. We have that reason. We've got the options. I think I have said for years that women could compete on the baseball field.
I agree.
I think if you're more comfortable with a 12-inch or a 16-inch softball, fabulous. Go play that game. Don't limit people to what you think they can do. Let them do what they can do. Because there is no reason for anybody to limit their skills or have to adjust because they're not able due to whatever restriction they think, whether you can't go 9 innings or, the game's too hard. I disagree that it's too hard. I disagree. And I'm sorry, I'm on a rant. The thing is that women have been completely underestimated in most every in most every aspect. I remember Greg, my boyfriend, and I were watching the WNBA last week, and he's like, "That ball looks smaller," and I'm going, "Well, it is." It's like an inch smaller than your regulation NBA ball. He goes, "Why is that?" I'm going, "The hell if I know." It's I used to play with regulation basketballs, whatever it was for youth sports in back in the 1970s, and I did but they didn't discriminate in parochial school, grade school ball.
Right.
You use the same balls as the guys did. So I don't see the big deal. It's only a matter of size, but let the women play exactly the way the men play.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
You'll get beast mode every time.
PWHL, anybody?
PWHL, man.
PWHL, anybody?
They play a very similar game to the men. They have 3 periods. They do their thing. And damn, they're aggressive. But
Allie, I gotta thank you for turning me on to the PWHL.
Oh.
I gotta thank you for turning me on to that league, because now there's a certain person that's been in my head saying, "Did you get your coverage package ready for season 3?" I'll answer that. Yes, I have.
Good work.
Everything is lined up and ready, and I'm calling the sponsors out. You want some good coverage? Come and get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's not that many months.
I have been busy, to say the least. I have been busy putting the foundation together.
That's awesome.
Man, women in sports needs to keep happening.
Well, it's the time to make it happen.
This is the time to capitalize on it.
Yes. And also reconsider some of these things that we've been talking about for a long time. What will be the rules of fighting in the WNBA? What's going to be the size of those balls? To me, I think it's a pivotal time to also look at the rules and see where we can be different. The CBA, the new CBA for the WNBA, needs to be signed by October 31st, I believe. Yeah. And one has to take a look and see where they're going to be going in the next few years. By the way, you mentioned the PWHL. Next year, they're going to have 2 more teams in the league. So, we are growing all over. And it is going to be fantabulous to have so many new spots for players. I mean, it's going to be great. And but you don't hear about the fighting in women's hockey.
They just want to play ball. They just want to play hockey.
That's it.
And these are women that play with speed, they play with power, and they play with a lot of skill.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they're great. And as long as Kendall Coyne Schofield stays around, I am going to be there, and longer than that, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be a really interesting next season, because you could say the first year of a new league, and the PWHL is going to be 3 years old. What's going to happen is the first year is always the fascination year. You know, it's new, it's an anomaly. You'll get big ratings. What do you do during the sophomore year to make it interesting? You know, they got a good TV channel for their second year, so that helped. And the league continues to expand. That'll make it even more interesting the third year. You've got you've got kids coming up from college who are going to be vying for spots, and they have grown up playing hockey as equals with the NHL. So that's going to be just terrific. And you know, I'm looking forward to this next season.
Me too. I'm looking forward to it to see more of the growth that we saw in season 2. And can anybody take down the Minnesota Frost? Because they started under the radar, and the next thing you know, they're hoisting the cup again. And we run out of time. But Allie, wonderful as always having you here. All the knowledge that you bring, the hijinks, the fun. We have a lot of fun with you here. You are, my dear, a permanent part of this show.
Well,
so blab it to any and everybody. If y'all want the real scoop on women's sports, you don't get it anywhere else. You get it here. Thank you, Al.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you, all of you.
I got trigger happy and hit the button too early. Dag nabbit. We're out of time. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope you all are too. Thanks to everybody that stopped by today. So long, everybody.
I had that.
Will you quit?
Dude, I had it queued up.
Well, cue it up again and push the button, will you?
We're out of here.
To our friend Blake, once you launch your play-by-play channel, let me know. We got an extra carrier for you. And why are the Bears in such a ditch? Because they mortgaged, dislodged, gambled, and threw up on everything for Caleb Williams.
No way.
Really?
We're out of here. See you tomorrow.
Oh, my God.
I'm getting too old for this.
I am too.
Wow.